What's up, everybody? Today I'll be counting down my I'll be continuing my top 20 roller coasters I've ridden. So today, so yesterday or 2 days ago, I started my top 20 roller coasters, and it was 20 through 11. So today we're gonna look at 10 through 1. Okay, so if you haven't checked out 20 through 11, I think you should really do so before you watch this video, so you can get the really late top 20 roller coasters I've ridden instead of just half of it. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so I'm gonna start out with Raptor number 10. This is the B&M invert at Cedar Point. Now, I didn't make a review of this roller coaster. Eventually, I'm gonna try to get around to make a review of all 73 roller coasters I've ridden, but that probably is gonna take a while because I do different segments in this channel. All right, so let's get back to Raptor. This is a really good B&M invert. Now, if you to know more about it, just I also have a video up about the top 6 B&M inverts I've ridden. So yeah, go check that out if you want to hear more about Raptor. But basically, this is a really good ride in my opinion. This is the best B&M invert I've ridden, and probably the best one out there. Maybe Montu or Katoon could be better than this. Maybe Nemesis at Alton Towers. But yeah, so basically, this is a really good ride. I really enjoyed it. And well, now that I'm thinking about it, possibly Valraven might beat it out for the 4th or 5th spot. And it could beat out Top Thrill Dragster as well. But I don't know. This is it's one of the top. It's definitely in the top 5 in my opinion at the park. Just my opinion is always changing about every single ride, it seems today. But so yeah, this is just a really good invert at a really good park. So let's move on. Let's move on to number 9. This is Goliath, the 6 Hours Over Georgia. Now this is the B&M Hyper that I just got to ride pretty recently, about a month ago. I visited 6 Hours Over Georgia for the first time. I didn't get all the credits, but I think I got 6 out of the 10 credits there. So yeah, this is talk about Goliath. This is a really good B&M Hyper. Just spoiler alert. This is it's kind of obviously like the worst B&M Hyper I've ridden, but it's still number 9 out of 72 roller coasters I've ridden. So it has to be pretty good. You know, the drop is very good. It's pretty steep. Yeah, you definitely feel the drop in the back row. I only rode this ride once in the back row. I wish I would have rode it more, but the line was very long. So yeah, basically you just whip over the drop and you go into some turns, and eventually you go into some helix. But this is one of the only rides that actually go out of the amusement park and then come back in. I really like that feature about it. You know, I was having some debate whether to put Goliath in number 9 or Raptor in number 9. But I just decided to put Goliath because, you know, it is a lot taller, a lot faster than Raptor. So yeah, this is a really good ride. I think it's number 2 in the park. So let's get on to number 8. Number 8, I think, is Great America Scream Machine. This is the number 1 in the park in my opinion. Even though I didn't ride Superman, I didn't ride Superman or Mindbender. Now, I don't think those roller coasters might beat out this ride, but they could because I didn't ride it. I didn't ride Joker or the Mine Train either, but I'm almost positive they won't beat out this ride. So let's just get back to this ride. This ride is at 6 Hours Over Georgia. I think maybe PTC made this ride, maybe the park itself. I don't know. One of those two. Basically, this is a pretty old classic wooden roller coaster. It's part of the Ace roller coaster landmark monument things. So yeah, this is a really good ride. But the main reason I really like this ride is because of buzz bars. Now, buzz bars are probably one of my favorite restraints because you get stand up airtime. You get so much airtime. Plus, this ride is pretty forceful too in the drop. I really like forceful drops. That's probably the main thing I like about roller coasters. I might come out with a list about top 10 things I like to see in roller coasters pretty soon. So yeah, basically this is a really good roller coaster, a really good wooden roller coaster, and this is spoiler alerts if you haven't seen my top 10 roller coasters, but this is my number 1 roller coaster as of 2017. Okay, let's move on to number 7. Number 7 is Diamondback at Kings Island. Now, I had kind of a hard time whether to put this at number 6 or 7 because they're similar rides. You probably already know what number 6 is since those hints. But yeah, this ride's really good, but I don't think the drop was as forceful as number 6, and I don't think it gave us as good airtime. But the saving grace of this ride was really the splashdown. That's a really good element. I really like splashdown. That's my only splashdown I've ridden. I really like that part about the ride. The only thing I really don't like is because it's like engrossed in trees. You know, I mentioned this before, but I don't like to feel like I'm in a forest. I like to feel like I'm in an amusement park whenever I'm at an amusement park. That's why I like Kansas Cedar Point so much. I know that's not a popular opinion, but that's just my opinion. So yeah, this is a really good ride. I do think it's number 1 at the park. Diamondback's definitely number 1 at the park. I say Kings Island is an okay park. It has a lot of depth, but I just really think it needs that really big standout roller coaster. I really think it needs like an intimate B&M Giga coaster. That would really fit the park perfectly. And I think it could be that would really form it into a really good park. Possibly better than Kings Dominion and possibly better than Carowinds. I don't know. So let's move on to number 6. Now number 6 is Intimidator. This is a ride I've ridden so many times in my home park. I had so many experiences in this ride. I still remember my first ride in this. So yeah, this ride's very nostalgic. It's probably I'm probably biased against it, most likely. That's probably why it's at number 6. And why I put it over Diamondback. But I really do think the drop is better than at Diamondback. Like, it's more forceful. Like my stomach drops. Like my stomach, I have butterflies in my stomach more than I had on Diamondback for some reason on this ride. And you know, I really like the layout too, and how it's close to the parking lot, and you don't feel like you feel like you're at an amusement park. I like that about it. And you kind of go through Dinosaurs Alive too, and you go by Afterburn, and that's really cool too. Like the interactions with other rides. Like Diamondback, you don't really see any other rides but trees whenever you ride the ride, but you actually interact with other rides with this ride. So yeah, the trains are pretty cool. The second gen B&M Hyper trains are pretty cool on this ride. So yeah, this is a really good coaster, a really good park. Number 5 is Top Thrill Dragster at Cedar Point, my number 1 park. Now Top Thrill Dragster, this is a definition of a one trick pony. Like I was talking about my other video, Val Raven was a one trick pony too, but this is like legit a one trick pony. You launch, go up a 400-foot top hat hill, you go down, you spiral down, and you hit the brakes. That's all you do in this ride. But it's a very good ride because it made number 5. I was kind of debating whether to put it in front or behind the B&M Hyper coasters, but I decided to put it in front because I was really anticipating this ride, and I sat in the back. I only rode it once because basically this is what happens. If you saw the Coaster Kids video, you know I met the Coaster Kids in the Top Thrill Dragster line. Yeah, that time when Top Thrill Dragster was open after the park closed, like I was there to experience it. So yeah, I only got to ride this ride once, and it was only that time. It was a night ride. I think it was about 11 or 12 o'clock. The park was closed. I didn't have to wait that long for this ride because only a couple people were allowed in. I was pretty lucky. And then I got a back row ride because the front row was like a very long line. I didn't feel like waiting. I think I might have should have waited because I feel like this ride could have been higher if I would have rode it like twice or at least in the front row. But I rode it in the back row with this really cool dude that was also doing a roller coaster trip at the time. I think he was going to Kings Island in the Kentucky Kingdom, and he just came from Michigan's Adventure like Holiday World. So yeah, he was doing a roller coaster trip. He's a really cool dude. I forgot his name, but he had a family. He was taking around the country doing a road trip. It was really cool. He was really cool. So let's just get back to Top Thrill Dragster. I really think it kind of deserves number 5, but I had some controversy with it though. So yeah, it's a one-trick pony, but it's a really good one-trick pony. You know, the launch was very good, but I really think the drop is not that forceful because of the spiral probably really makes it not where you could feel it. But I think it delivered though, because the launch was really good and really fast. I think it delivered. I had a lot of hype for this ride. I'm pretty sure it delivered. Alright, so let's move on to number 4 is Millennium Force, the Intimate Giga Coaster at Cedar Point. Now, this is a really good ride, but I don't really know. I didn't really have really high expectations. I didn't think it was gonna be better than Fury, but I kind of I kind of think it. Oh shoot, I spoiled it. But okay, but let's just get back. Basically, I didn't know if it was gonna be better than my number one or number two. I kind of had thoughts about it being number two. I really thought it was gonna be better than my number three, but it turned out it wasn't. So yeah, the drop was. It was kind of forceful, but it kind of wasn't forceless. It kind of was forceful, but it wasn't forceless at the same time. Like, it was kind of in the middle. Some rides I would get forceful rides. Sometimes I would get forceless rides. Sometimes I would just get in the middle. You know, it's kind of like a Russian roulette, kind of. So, yeah, I sat in the back row, front row, middle rows. I really rode a ride because this is one of the rides where I rode with the time I got a Fast Lane Plus. I probably rode about 10 times this ride. 10 times on this ride. So, yeah, I think it's at number 4. It is the worst gig I've ridden. I don't know if that's a spoiler or not, cause okay, this basically this is the worst gig I've ridden, but that doesn't mean it's a bad ride. You know, it's a really good ride. It's number 2 at Cedar Point. All right, so let's get on to number 3. Now, number 3 is Maverick Cedar Point. This is a roller coaster that I wasn't really expecting much of. I kind of heard it was gonna be. A lot of people kind of hyped this ride up, but I really think it delivered, I guess. You know, it's basically what I thought it was going to be, but a little bit better, I guess. Because I didn't think it was going to be better than Top Thrill Dragster or Millennium Force, but I thought it was going to be a really good ride, but it turns out it was better than both of those rides. And I got to give it credit. I probably rode this ride as much as Millennium Force, maybe a little bit more, maybe about 12 times, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I rode this ride a lot of times. I'm kind of in love with this ride. It's a really good ride. So yeah, basically you go down, you launch up, then you go down a vertical drop, then you go through some really cool airtime moments. You get ejected. That's what I really like. This ride is very forceful. You get a lot of butterflies to your stomach. But unfortunately, I knew the mid-course launch was coming up. Unfortunately, I really wish I didn't know that would happen. I think that would have made the ride a lot better if I wouldn't have known the elements in the rides. But unfortunately, I did. But that didn't really take that much away because the elements are really good in this ride. I think it's one of the roller coasters with the best elements on any roller coaster. Probably actually the best. Now I think about it. Okay, so let's move on to number 2. Now, number 2 is a Terminator 305 at King's Dominion. Now, this is basically Maverick on steroids. This is really, number 2, number 1 are kind of a really big step up from number 3. I really think this is like the 300-foot version of Maverick. I rode this ride back in 2016, and it was really insane. And it did live up to the hype of the ride. This ride is probably the most intense roller coaster I've ridden. And I really like the low to the ground maneuvers it does, kind of like miniature Stango dives. It's really cool how it whips you to one side or the other. And the first drop is very forceful. I really like that. It's probably the second most forceful drop I've been on. Yeah, it's a really good ride at King's Dominion. If you haven't rode it, I really think you should get out there and ride it. Okay, so let's move on. Moment of truth. Number 1 is the one, the only Fury 325. I've ridden this ride a lot of times, probably over 30 or 40 times. This is definitely the ride I've ridden the most out of any other roller coaster. So yeah, basically, this is probably the best drop I've ever been on. It's so forceful. Most of the times the ride gets better each time I ride it. But if you override this ride, you know, you get used to it. And the drop kind of becomes forceless. So basically, just go ride Drop Tower or Hurler for a little bit, and then come out of this ride, and it'll be basically new. That's what I do. That's at least what I do a lot whenever I go to Carowinds. So yeah, let's just talk more about this ride. This ride is very amazing. If you haven't rode it, I think you should really get out there and ride it. So basically, you just go down the drop, then you go into like this turn. I think it's either I think it might be the treble clef. Or that, I forgot what that is. Isn't it like a high dive or something like that? Basically you go through the high dive or something like that. Then you go through like low to the ground maneuvers. You like bend to the left and stuff. And then your picture gets taken. Then you go into the triple clef, and then you like go drive under the bridge. And you go to some of those like bank turn, low to the ground maneuvers. Then you go into the airtime tunnel, the first one. Then you do like a helix and you get like a near miss element. That's a really cool part of the ride. And you go through like 2 more hills and you hit the brakes. So yeah, it's like the longest, fastest Giga Coaster. So yeah, it's like the longest, the fastest, the tallest Giga Coaster in the world. Well, not the longest, but the fastest, the tallest. And I really do think this is the #1 roller coaster in the world. Even I have not ridden every roller coaster in the world. I don't think anyone has. But yeah, so this ride is very good. It does live up to the hype, and nowadays it's getting overhated. I really think we should like not overhate this ride, because this is a really good ride. I know this is probably the bias coming out of me, but like this ride is very good. A lot of people think so, but it's starting to get overhated because a lot of people are saying it's not a good ride. It's maybe a top 15 ride, maybe a top 20, but I really do think it's a top 5 ride at least. Okay, so that's just my thoughts, and I hope you guys enjoyed my top 20 roller coasters I've ridden, and I hope to ride more and make an updated list. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.